It's October 1st, 2017. Waiting on Tommy Guns to call me. Tommy Vendetta. I'm gonna talk. Let me give a little, I'm gonna read an excerpt from the allegedly not for nothing. Should be calling any minute. It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. First of many. You know what I mean? Hopefully it'll be out soon. Won't be having to do it like this. We can actually do it in the same room and shit. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. He's gonna call me. I've been trying to do this since Wednesday. We on Sunday, man. Cause, and then he was supposed to call me at 9 this morning. Couldn't do that. You know what I mean? It's not exactly the easiest thing to do when you're trying to get people, when you're trying to put things together to push out for people to receive, you know what I mean? And promote this book and the story and the different stuff, it takes a lot. Here we go.
This is a prepaid collect call from
Tommy Dela Cruz,
an inmate at McDougal Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, Ace, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. You're live. We got you in here.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So this is a little excerpt that I like to provide to people so they can see and maybe feel, how I coped with the nightmare living, around 21 years old in the joint. And so let me provide this will be about a 10-page read. All right, so it starts out like this. The first Saturday afternoon of moving to Ricky's block, he called me over to his cell around 1:30 p.m. When I got there, I found him tight in the handle of his menacing-looking shank. It appeared 9 inches in length, with a fillet-type tip. About 6 inches of cold steel stuck out from the handle. Although it was completely normal for him to be armed, I instantly felt something was about to occur, because he wasn't in the habit of displaying his weapon unless it was going to use. "What's up, Rick?" I asked. "Hang around here for a minute. I want you to watch, son." His eyes never leaving the steel as he spoke. Immediately I thought, oh shit, something bad is up. Quickly scanning the surroundings for threats or something out of the ordinary, nothing snagged my eye. But then I saw a few of Ricky's guys escorting up the back staircase. Some 6'1", 200-pound biker-looking guy who appeared not too happy walking up 3 flights of stairs. The fat bastard huffed and puffed crazily, entering the boss's chamber. Like a chamberlain, I stood blocking and observing from the doorway. With weapon in hand, Ricky scolded the man about something he had previously done. In mid-speech, he stuck the tip of the knife into the fat man's belly. It only appeared to go in about an inch, just a flesh wound, nothing fatal. Plus, I was sure all the honey buns he ate patted his organs far enough from the steel. Yet, by the way he shrieked, jumping backwards and falling upon the toilet stall, you'd have thought he took a sword through and through. "Please, Mr. Costa," the fat man cried, but there didn't appear to be any mercy in Ricky's eyes, only ice. With impetus, Ricky stepped illustratively forward to lurk over the peasant. In that same step, he posited the tip of death, shank, upon fat man's chin, seething, "I had to kill you, you punk piece of shit. Right where you sit. Chop you up and flush you down the toilet. Little pieces like the shit you are." Then he nodded up at us, adding, "Hey, Bubba, remember back with that piece of shit, what's his name? When I had to put his skull inside a pillowcase and batch it off these walls until there was enough tiny pieces to flush? What you think?" The fat man cringed. Bubba smirked devilishly, nodding a nod like, how the fuck could I forget? Except his enthusiasm didn't reflect Rick's. Smart. Then, with an annoyed glance, Ricky indicated to us, "I'm sparing him, so let him pass." So we eased. Blessed by this switcheroo, Ricky swooped the tip of steel off that man's chin, like a pin marking a comma in a terrible sentence. A maneuver bleeding a bleak warning of what the following paragraph entails should he ignorantly continue. "All right, you stupid fuck, screw off, because you're just too stupid to kill," is how we ended it. Watching the fat man palming his belly, scurrying off, I thought, what a show, truly aesthetic. Then it crossed my mind how drastically different it felt up and personal, witnessing this sort of movie event taking place. You could smell excrements of raw fear, death, and the bleak winds of North Atlantic chewing away your empathy for the begging man. It entices you with feelings like, maybe I should feel bad, but I don't want him to stop. And there's just no comparison of being a part of that moment to being at home, tossing buttered popcorn in your mouth, believing you could vicariously imagine how it felt to be me inside that cell. Yes, it was amazing to witness the mastery of...
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Yes, it was amazing to witness the mastery of the man of the sword. I interpreted this bonus scene as manna from heaven, and it would be an understatement to say how it was encouraging me to go out and create my own scenes like this one instead of spectating them. I couldn't help admiring the beauty in his cultivated artistry with the crafting of his supremacy. The whole scene reminded me of a king summoning a peasant to his court so he could administer disciplinary punishment. No question that my friend powerfully endowed me with all the evidence I needed to separate him from all the phonies in here and in the movies that I watched growing up, like Godfather shit. That had nothing on him. Ricky was real, doing these gangster moves in real time, and I admired every minute of it. You had to be in awe if you watched how he gave the law, especially if you grew up loving those gangster flicks. I realized quickly that his objective in having me present was to coherently, graphically demonstrate that his language was disciplined, so I wouldn't make the mistake of forgetting he was a genuine solemn article illustrating the draconian realities when men violated etiquette. Furthermore, he only used one solution in handling problems: violence. This experience reinforced the concept that I was living among dangerous men of honor. Perhaps it's abnormal, even sick to others, but I found comedy in the whole incident. I was smiling on the inside, and maybe that makes me a sociopath, but not like one of those characters in the Patterson book. Something else. Puncturing my thoughts, Ricky fired, "Hey, Gunzo, help yourself to a bottle," pointing to one of the several Coca-Cola bottles in the sink, cooling on the faucet, which had been refilled with prison booze. "Thanks, Rick." I smiled back at him, but he was already conversing with the other fellas. He didn't miss a trick, so I knew he still heard me, though. I grabbed the bottle and chased the hell of excitement down, didn't stop until it was half empty, then said goodbye. I didn't know if it was just the booze or being that good or my shoddy memory getting the better of me again, but I couldn't remember the guy's name standing next to me. But I asked him a reasonable question like, do we have to worry about the fat man telling on us while we were parlaying and drinking in the cell? Seemed like a logical question to me, huh? He answered, "Nah, we'll be fine. He just locked up so he could clean up. He knows better than to rat on the old man. There'd be nowhere he could live after that." What you saw there was the old man's famous zipper. So eventually he'll have to go to medical to get checked out. But he'll do that on second shift, so it's not an easy trace back to us. Trust me, he wants this day to go away. Confused about what the famous zipper meant, but now remembering the man's name was George that I was speaking to, I asked, "What's a zipper, George?" George answered, "Anytime a guy gets poked in the belly, regardless of depth, its procedure is to send him to an outside hospital. Doc's got to check his stomach for internal bleeding. When that happens, they leave a score that looks like a pant zipper running up alongside your belly button." "Oh, okay," I said, before continuing on like the rest of them without a care in the world, just after stabbing a man. The next morning I woke up around 8:20 a.m., staring at the ceiling for another 10 minutes, wishing I had woken up at home next to a sexy-ass woman. My dick was hard, so I jerked off reminiscing about Cynthia. My penis was addicted to her mouth. She's a dirty girl who I love dicking down. Took about 3-4 minutes for my toes to curl. Reviving those old feelings and thoughts made me want to reach out and check how she was doing, see whether she liked to visit again. But I thought about it twice and wrote it off. Word to the grapevine was that she recently had a kid, so I didn't want to get between anything like that. After cleaning up the mess, I brushed my teeth, fixed my hair, made a strong cup of coffee. The stinger boiled the water so I allowed it to cool, and while doing so, I made sure my laces were tied as fuck.
This call is subject to recording and monitoring.
Considering the culture factors. With coffee in hand, I stepped out of my cell to inhale whatever smells the morning psychometric breeze entailed. This is a sick place, imposing all of its madness without regard, and it would be impossible not to pick up some kind of mental illness along the way. Sad but true, especially dudes still having such a long way to go. I spotted Ricky on the phone. It was a ritual making that early morning call to one or both of his older sisters. Lenore usually got the first call. They were the best of friends. I would later learn that his sisters were the only ones that he listened to, which I later used in my advantage when I spoke with Lenore via phone, telling her something playfully that Ricky was giving me a hard time for. It worked like a charm to make him stop. It was quite funny because he'd look at me after and be like, damn, he checkmated me. The beauty in it was that no matter how much he ruled this place with an iron fist, it was no match against the powers older sisters had over him. Imagine that. Hey, Ricky, I whispered, nodding and pointing towards his cell for permission to wait inside. He nodded consent, followed with a look like, I'm busy, leave me the hell alone. I took a seat on the foot of his bed. Normally, you're not supposed to sit in another man's bed, but this was different. Waiting for Ricky's call to finish, I sipped my coffee slow and stared at his TV, which was on, but with no volume on. Soft music played in the background, light rock. I used a moment of peace, if that is what you can call it, to reflect on emotions that hurt tapping into. Yearning for freedom, bonding with family, things like that, you know? Although I was still in the same state as my family, I was really neons away. It felt like for every year I spent in prison, it distanced me another light year from them and the world I once knew. I felt like I was now a creature from outer space. And if I returned to them in this exact moment, especially if I brought my friends, they would have reported an invasion of aliens to those men in black. True story. The thought of that dried my throat, so I gulped my coffee. The caffeine helped to speed those negative thoughts away, more importantly, my emotions. Out of my peripheral, I spotted Colin approaching with a mop. I never liked this prick. From the bottom screamed snake, but I was also prejudiced towards him through his case. He was serving life for murdering his girlfriend. Heard he did something crazy with her body after, too. Shitbag. Hey, pound me guns, Colin said. I'm gonna hit the floor. What's up, I growled back, acting like I didn't hear him. I said, I'm gonna hit the floor really quick for Ricky. Do you want to step out or put your feet up? For a moment I thought, how about I put my feet in your fucking head? But instead I glanced over at Rick, seeing if he approved. He nodded yes. So I fired back, annoyed as fuck. Go ahead, I'll stay here. As I watched Colin mop Ricky's floor, I thought, what a dick sucker. Because although he was paying a form of respect to Ricky, he did it in a pussy way. His whole demeanor made it disgusting to watch. Thankfully, he was in and out before it made me barf. Ricky entered the cell just as the floor dried. What do you want? He asked, as he reclined at the head of his bed. I don't like that dude, Rick. I don't want to kick him in the head, you know? But he only snarled at me. Took another sip of my coffee before he got up and said, Dude, I don't like that dude. The old bastard was mimicking me. Before he continued, what kind of talk is that, huh? Before I could respond, his hands were up like a boxer's. He was fixing to throw him, too. Come on, Gunzo. You think you're good enough to take on an old man, huh? He smiled menacingly. You don't think the old man still has it, huh? Then he swung left, right, and finished his combo with an uppercut. Of course, these were all make-believe punches, but he should believe he could have landed each one. And I wasn't going to correct him on that, but it left unsaid. I was young, but I wasn't stupid enough.
You have 1 minute left.
Defensively, I put my hands up and laughed. Ha, ha,
This
ha.
call
Okay,
is subject
Rick,
to
you got me.
recording
Relax.
and monitoring.
But he threw 2 more, saying, see that? You see it? You ever see Rocky Marciano? Don't you ever think I'm too old to kick your ass for a few rounds? Got it, Gunzo? Yeah, okay. I made you a cup of coffee right there, point with my chin. Enjoy it before you make me spill it all over your bed. The old warrior settled down, sipped his coffee, and allowed soft music to drift his thoughts away. Then he looked over at me and said, Hey, Gunzo, you see what I did to that asshole yesterday? He did something very wrong. He lied to me. He broke his word after he gave it to me. Begged me for help, too. And I helped him. And he spit in my face by lying to me like that. You see, this place runs by an honorable system. And when guys violate that system, it's primitive behavior that only registers in their heads. Their brains don't work too good. And this knife right here, trailing his weapon in his hand, this is a psychosurgical instrument that treats their defectiveness very effectively. You understand? Yeah, I understand. I broke up the seriousness of the moment by chuckling. But he was dangerously serious, and I loved it. said I'm hungry. So what? He grunted, chuckling. Well, can I get a bowl of cereal? Maybe Raisin Bran? Can I get? He said. What kind of way is that to ask someone that you want something from? Huh? A smile escaped his grub before adding, you get shit. Obviously, he wasn't done busting my balls this morning, so I pressed. Come on, I'm hungry, Rick. He followed by jumping to his feet to that old boxer stance again, saying, come on, Gunzo, I'm hungry too. Couldn't stop playing this morning. No, this wasn't going anywhere. I sucked my teeth leaving, saying, all right, I'll go get something out of my cell. Yeah? Get me something too, or don't come back. How's that? He kidded. The old man loved riding me hard. It was his way of saying that old I love you. That morning I learned two valuable lessons. To avoid a sort of regicide, one must practice psychological warfare in order to reign godlike over this regional hell on earth. Reigns of terror are the cardinal rule. Secondly, when you're asking Ricky for something, you need to refrain from using words like, can I get? And instead practice, may I have? Practicing that last one, I bet you I would have prospered on that bowl of Raisin Bran. I also assumed he was educating me that morning because he knew someday he would no longer be around. And it was important to him that he provided me with all the tools to craft my own superior techniques so I too could be somebody. In perspective of that movie, Bronx Tale, and how it depicts Sonny teaching Calaggio wise guy knowledge, well, shit. That whole movie had nothing on the wise guy shit that was being taught to me. Just this one scene yesterday morning. You know what I mean? That's it. And that is the excerpt finishing from Allegedly Not For Nuttin, Tommy Vendetta. I hope you enjoyed it.